This was such a bad idea. Hi everyone, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today we're doing a big ol' unhaul of my thrillers. Ooh boy, so I have 5 enormous book piles that are nearly as, well, like shoulder height. Yeah, I will warn you, I will most likely be keeping many more than probably is necessary because I tend to part with thrillers after I've read them quick enough. So I'm not worried about them staying on too long, if that makes any sense. That said, let's go through and see what should stay and what should go. I mean, I have really not a lot of space on my shelves anymore, and I want to make room for more. So the whole plan is there are going to be 3 piles. The first pile will be thrillers on my TBR that I always think about putting on my monthly TBRs or my seasonal TBRs. Thrillers on my TBR that I sometimes think about putting on my TBRs for monthly and seasonally. And then thrillers that I just never think about. And those are the ones that really need to go. Okay, so we're going to start with, we need to talk about Kevin. I've heard very mixed things about this book as well as the author herself. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I do sometimes think about putting this on my TBR, but I just don't think I want to support this author. So I'm going to say goodbye to it. The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon. I want to keep this. I think about it sometimes and think about putting it on my TBR sometimes. The Ice Twins. I think about sometimes every winter. I think about putting this on my TBR and I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Special Topics in Calamity Physics. I think I'm going to let go of. I've had enough time that I should have picked this up by now. And I just never have. And so I think it's got to go. The same thing for Strangers on a Train by Patricia Highsmith. I know that she is such a beloved thriller and mystery author, but I think I started this once and just couldn't get into it. So I'm going to pass that along. I even have a retelling on here that I think I'm going to keep that one. In any case, oopsie. Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane. This is an example of a thriller that I read that I really loved, so much so that it stayed on my shelf. So I'm going to keep it. With You Always by Brenna Olson. I sometimes think about putting on my TBR, even though I'm not a huge fan of domestic thrillers. This is a story of domestic abuse, and that can sometimes terrify me. These poor people have to go through that. Gone Girl. Oh my gosh, everything just fell for a second there. I thought that was going to be a catastrophe. Gone Girl Will Always Stay. I mean, yes. Perfect Days. Rachel over at the Shades of Orange loved this, and I always think about putting this on my TBR. A Murder at Rosamund's Gate, I just think is going to be such a, I was just about to use the word sweet, a sweet thriller. It's more of like a mystery, like a cozy mystery, historical fiction. I want to give it a whirl. I do. Inhuman Resources by Pierre Lemaitre. He writes books that are so twisted. I definitely want to keep this on my TBR. The Turn of the Key, I absolutely loved. It's staying. The One, everyone has told me to read this book, and it is staying and often goes on my TBR. Now, this book has been on my TBR so many times. I think out of any book over the course of me having this channel, this book has been on the most TBR, so it's absolutely staying. I loved The Secretary by Renee Knight. That's going to stay. Still Missing is about abduction, which I think is fascinating, so that is staying. Okay, so The Ex's Revenge. I don't think that I want to keep this on my TBR. It's domestic thriller, and I just don't think I think about it enough, really, so that's gonna go. Next is I'll Never Tell by Catherine Mackenzie. I've never read her before, and this is the only one on my shelves by her. I'd like to keep this because I do sometimes think this would be good. It takes place at a camp over summer. Good summer read. I'm gonna keep it. The Girl with a Clock for a Heart. I really enjoy Peter Swanson, so I want to keep that. Her Pretty Face, I also want to keep. I do think about that, putting on that on my TBR. Here's an example of something that's got to go. Whistle in the Dark by Emma Healy. I want to read Elizabeth is Missing, which I think should be in here somewhere. But I've heard really bad things about Whistle in the Dark, so I'm going to let it go. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. So graphic. I loved that. Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I absolutely loved that. Unraveling Oliver. Love Liz Nugent. The Secrets She Keeps sounds really twisted, and I would like to keep this. I've heard mixed things about him as an author, but I think it sounds great, and I'd like to give him a whirl. Night Film by Marissa Pessel. I really loved this, so it's gonna stay. The Chalk Man by CJ Tudor. I really enjoyed. It's gonna stay. I almost want to put this on my horror shelf because it's so heavily influenced by Stephen King, but it will stay where it will stay for now. Next up is The Wolf Road, and I just think I'm ready to let this go. It does sound interesting, and lots of people seem to have loved that, like Paul Tremblay and Nick Cutter, but I just don't think so. All the Beautiful Lies, I've actually heard some negative things about, and so I think I'm gonna let this one go. But Elizabeth is Missing, I have been desperate to read and has been on so many TBRs. That's gonna stay. The Book of You has been another one that's been on several TBRs of mine, so that will stay. Emma in the Night. I think I have 2 Wendy Walkers, but Kayla apparently loved this one, so I'm going to keep that. I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. So twisted. I loved it. The Last Mrs. Parrish is one that I've thought about so many times. I'd never put it on my TBR before, but it's staying. The Woman in Cabin 10, I really want to keep. And then I've got, how many Megan Mirandas here? I don't know where the other one is. I've got The Last House Guest, and then I've got All the Missing Girls. I read Megan Miranda's latest book, and I didn't like it. So I think I'm gonna just get rid of them. I just don't think I like them enough to keep them. The Favorite Sister. You know, the only reason that I really want to keep this is, I did read her other book, Luckiest Girl Alive, and it was very gritty, and I liked that. This has some reality TV stuff in here, and I'm a sucker for that, so I think I'm going to keep it. I really enjoyed Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I'm going to keep that. Next up is 6 Stories. I think I'm ready to get rid of that. I loved Blood Wedding. Oh my goodness. The Little Friend by Donna Tartt, I really want to keep, even though I'm terrified of reading her. I didn't like The Secret History. The River at Night, I often think about reading in the summer. I always think about this one in the summer. I'm going to give Sharon Bolton one last chance with Daisy in Chains, because it's about a girl or a woman who writes and has this correspondence with a serial killer or something. So I want to keep it and see, but I didn't like the other book that I read by her. Ooh, The Other Child by Lucy Atkins. I love Lucy Atkins. This is staying. The Couple Next Door, I just feel like I need to give her a shot. I don't think I've read Sherry Lapina before. Have I? Oh God, I don't think I have. I'm going to give her a shot and see what I think of it. The Wife Between Us, I really want to read, and I've thought about several times. The Silent Wife is another one that has been on several TBRs. That's got to stay. An Anonymous Girl, I have heard mixed things about, but I want to find out for myself. And the premise is a little bit different for a thriller, so I like that. I'm going to keep it. The Lying Room by Nikki French. I would never get rid of a Nikki French. I love her. Every Single Secret by Emily Carpenter. I've not read Emily Carpenter yet, and I've heard really good things. I want to keep that one. The Marriage Lie my mom loved, and I want to give Kimberly Bell a try. I think I have 2 of hers on my shelves. He Said, She Said by Erin Kelly. I did not like her other book at all. Will I like this one? Maybe I'll give her a try. I'm going to give her just one last try with this one, and then I'll know for sure. Here's the other Kimberly Bell that I have, and I would like to keep this because it just sounds interesting. Ooh, The Nanny. I've been really wanting to read, so I'm going to keep that. 9 Perfect Strangers. I do like a Leanne Moriarty here and there, and this is one of her more... It is got a little bit of a mystery element to it, so I'm going to keep it and see what I think of it for myself. The Unforgotten is a little more mystery than thriller, but it's historical fiction. I'm super curious about it. I'm going to keep that. Little Face by Sophie Hannah sounds amazing. I'm always interested in motherhood, in books, in thrillers especially. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I think this might be the only Black author in this haul, which is a shame, and I really want to read more thrillers by Black authors. This is 100% staying. His and Hers by Alice Feeney. Absolutely, that's her latest one. What Lies Between Us by John Mars. I desperately want to keep. I adored The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. This is still the only thriller that I've read that has actually made me cry, like weep profusely. That will stay. The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. I have thought about putting this on my TBR quite a few times. Similarly, for anything by Kimberly McCreight, I really love her writing style. So here's Where They Found Her, as well as Reconstructing Amelia. Both of those will stay. Here's the other Emily Carpenter, The Weight of Lies. I'm super curious about that one. The Girl in the Red Coat by Kate Hamer. I've heard good things about her as an author, so I want to see what I think of her. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I mean, I love her. Yes. I'm going to get rid of Those Girls by Chevy Stevens. I have other Chevy Stevens books on my shelves that I'm more interested in, so I think I'm going to get rid of that one. Here is the Wendy Walker that I think I'm going to start with. All Is Not Forgotten. Fingers crossed I like it. Okay, and yeah, here's the other Chevy Stevens that I have on my shelves that I have been super curious about. I'm going to keep that. Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. I was so excited when I found that one. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I liked this. I don't think I need this on my shelves anymore though. I'm going to pass that on. Second Life by S.J. Watson. I am still very curious about this. I know a lot of people have not liked this book, so I will DNF if I'm having a hard time with it, but I want to see where I land on that. This is my second chance to J.P. Delaney. I read The Girl Before by her and I didn't like it, but I liked the writing style. So I'm kind of curious what I'll think of The Perfect Wife by him, her. It doesn't say. I'm assuming it's a him. Then there's The Second Sister by Claire Kendall. I am very curious about Claire Kendall, so I'm going to keep that. The Trap just sounds cool. I know who killed my sister. I wrote this book for him. I mean, I need to know. Fierce Kingdom, heard mixed things. Interesting premise. I'm keeping it. Lying in Wait, I loved. Liz Nugent will always stay. Okay, I have one more big pile of books and then we're done. All These Beautiful Strangers. I think this is a YA thriller. I'm going to keep it because I am quite curious about that. That's a good one for like early fall. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Again, a YA thriller that I'm very curious about. The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This is the one that is based on Strangers on a Train, but I want to read this one and not that one. Ooh. But yeah, I'm keeping it. All that to say, I'm keeping it. Ooh, Out. I've heard such good things about this. That is staying. Okay, Rumor. I don't need this. The Rumor. I don't think this is going to be gripping enough for me. I'm gonna pass that along. I absolutely loved The Woman in the Window. I'm eagerly awaiting another one by A.J. Finn. Your Life is Mine sounds absolutely scary about a serial killer after, or a killer and cult leader after this woman. And the author is a person of color. So I'm going to keep that. And I think this is Canadian too. I mean, I've got to read that. A Noise Downstairs. I've never read Linwood Barclay before. Am I like super sucked into the idea of this one? No, but I haven't read him before. And what if I love him? I'm going to see. I'm going to keep it. And we will see where I land on that one. Ooh, Little Cruelties by Liz Nugent. That is absolutely staying. As is The Shadows by Alex North. I loved And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. So classic. I loved it. Ruth Ware. I'm going to keep The Lying Game, even though I have heard mixed things about that particular one. I really have always enjoyed Renee Knight. Very character-driven mysteries that I really like. So disclaimer will stay. This is my second B.A. Paris that I'm giving her another chance. I liked the writing style of Behind Closed Doors, but I didn't like the story itself at all. So I'm going to keep it and see what happens. I've heard really great things about Jar of Hearts, so that's going to stay. The Perfect Stranger, I think I'm going to get rid of because I just didn't enjoy Meg and Miranda. My mom really enjoyed Before She Was Found, and I'm kind of curious. It's a bit of a different premise, so I'd like to keep that, and then I'd like to keep The Au Pair as well. Ha! Okay, this is good. It's not a really big stack considering how many books I'm keeping. I recognize that. However, I'm going to get rid of quite a few. So I'm getting rid of The Rumor. I'm getting rid of The Perfect Stranger. The Silent Patient. All the Missing Girls. The Last House Guest. All the Beautiful Lies. Wolf Road, Whistle in the Dark, The Ex's Revenge, Those Girls, 6 Stories, Strangers on a Train, special topics in Calamity Physics, and we need to talk about Kevin. I feel good about that. The only one that I've been like, maybe I should keep it, is All the Missing Girls. But I think I just really didn't like her writing. Okay, so I'm all done. As you can tell, I kept a heck of a lot of thrillers, but I go through thrillers so quickly, and honestly, I do get rid of a lot of thrillers. After I've read them, I almost always get rid of them. So let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these, if you've liked any of these, and I will talk with you soon. Bye, guys.